Today we did a lesson adapted from the Exploratorium called Sound Cups. We took that and we integrated it into a 5E model lesson. You have engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. So that's a lesson sequence, and it's not necessarily sequential. You can cycle through it. Let's say you get all the way to elaborate. You're realizing your students aren't necessarily ready for the evaluate, so you jump back to more explore. And this particular part was one of the 5Es called engage, the introductory piece where kids get engaged and start kind of questioning and being inquisitive, get them to just start thinking about sound. And then the explore, they start looking at, it could be data, it could be a hands-on lab, it could be something, but you're still not giving them answers. You're just letting them explore. We're gonna give you a cup, and then you're gonna have to shake it like this to figure out what's in it. Are you having any ideas already? Maybe? Okay. Now, let's compare the two. Do these have the same sound? Do they sound similar? A little bit? Maybe? Okay. So your job is to silently go around the class and find your partner that has the same sound. So you're gonna be getting cups, like I said, right? But you gotta make sure that the cup matches somebody else in the classroom. So there is a pair for every single cup. Oh, you think it's a paper clip? Oh, I wonder. What do you think? You think they're the same? Yeah? People learn from experiences, and so giving the students that time to just explore and to mess around with things. I was using the term play a lot while I was talking to them because I think it's important that everybody gets a chance to play to learn. It's really important that teachers don't just give out answers at the engage, because really you're trying to get them to give it out all the way once they get to the evaluate portion of the lesson. Modern science is really asking kids to come up with their own answers without getting the correct answer until way later on. Now that you have a pair, hopefully your partner's cup sounded close enough to yours, because now the job is to make a similar cup. So we're gonna actually give you the materials now, and you'll have all of the possible materials that might be in your cup in front of you at the table. And you have to try to build one that sounds exactly the same. So before you build anything, you just are going to kind of play around. I like the word play because it's good to play around with things, right? To learn about them. So you're gonna just play around with the materials and brainstorm a little bit for 2 minutes, and then you'll get started on the building process, okay?
Like this round.
You got your pairs all made? You think it's pretty close?
Probably needed to add a little bit more, but...
Okay, so the number matters. Yeah. This lesson was meant to be universally designed. So UDL is addressing the variability of learners and all those barriers that might exist, such as maybe they don't have time management skills, right? So as a teacher, I'm addressing that at the beginning before I even start the lesson, so that if there are kids that have time management issues, you already have the timers in there. Student choice is another huge principle of UDL. They had a choice to draw their ideas or write their ideas. And if we had more time, I would even maybe do like make a video about it, explain yourself using a TikTok style. I mean, as many choices as possible, in my opinion, is better. Anything that you can plan for as a teacher to give them choice, because you actually might enjoy watching a TikTok more than you'd like reading their handwriting, you know? If it's not a writing activity, it's really important to give students choice on how they show their learning. I will just open it up. Does anybody want to share what process they used to pair up and then also to create the sound cup? Jesus, you want to share with the class? Okay, what process did you use?
Hearing.
Okay, you used hearing. That is true. That's good. Okay. What were some steps that you took when you were finding your partner, or what materials to use?
We used cotton because we knew it was cotton.
You knew it was cotton right off the bat. What made you think that?
Like it was soft.
Because it felt, maybe it sounded soft? That's interesting, right? Because soft is a feeling, but you automatically felt like it sounded soft. Okay. It's a very engaging activity that requires listening. So for a student learning a new language, it's pretty easy to get engaged at the beginning there because they don't have to explain anything using language. Whenever they were saying what they notice and wonder, I did the what do you notice with your eyes and what do you wonder with your brain. So we had the visuals on the slideshow, but I also were like pointing to my eyes and my head. Some of the scaffolds we added in were sentence frames. So as they're watching the video and writing what they notice and wonder, there was exact sentence frames that they could use. And I actually noticed that some students were using them because they didn't write anything until I moved the slide to the sentence frame, and then they were like, oh, I can write, I wonder if, you know? Putting the learning into the students' hands, at first it's hard and it is a little frustrating because of course it gets a little chaotic. A lot of times we're not used to a chaotic classroom necessarily. It's easier to have one that's a little bit quieter and calmer. But I think that we see the most student learning when they are physically engaging with the materials themselves, asking the questions themselves, putting it into their hands, giving them that chance to come up with an idea. If it's not the right idea, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as right idea.